Hi guys, Tony from Klinik RC here and Race Tech. I haven't done a video for a while and I've had a bunch of ideas. I've just been waiting to get caught up a little bit and get our move finished to start doing some videos. So this first one will be easy. It's all about clutch bearings. So there's a lot of kind of superstitions and that about clutch bearings, that maybe you need to buy, $50 clutch bearings in order to finish them in and things like that. But over the years, I haven't had too much problems with clutch bearings. Maybe a few here and there, but I've raced nitro probably going on 30 years now, mid 90s, 94, 95, I think is when I started running gas truck. So I've done a lot of clutch bearings over the years and just don't seem to have too many problems with it. So I have a few things that I do that I think might be a little different, or maybe some ideas that you've not heard of. So I have my engine here from the Buggy Cup. This thing, between breaking it in, practice, and the races, I ran two 30-minute A-mains. It's probably got, I'd say 3 to 4 hours worth of runtime on the clutch bearings, and they were feeling a little bit rough, not too bad. I'd still run them in practice, but I wanted to make this video, so out they go, and we're going to put some new ones in. And here's a few things that are kind of handy to have doing clutch bearings. Some sort of spray cleaner. Most all these cleaners are basically acetone now, like your brake cleans. I like this one. It doesn't stink. It's got citrus smell to it. It dries completely dry. And I've used this can for probably a couple of years now. So I like this spray for degreasing and doing the clutch bearings. I have our Ultimate Clutch shim pack. Comes with 40 shims total, 4 different sizes. This is invaluable to get the clutch bearings set up the way I do it. I've got our clutch bolt here, titanium clutch bolt, old clutch bell, of course. I do use the Avid specific clutch bearings because they have a little better IBEC value. But I don't use ceramic or anything crazy. I think these sell for $5 or $10 for the pair. I can't remember. But I just use the regular clutch bearings. I use a bearing shaker. Okay, this one's made by Rody VS1. Just pick you up whatever one we have. We have these on the website. We sell them. And also I've got some of the cleaning putty, cleaning gum. This particular one's from OS. A million different brands make them. I've actually got some old stuff here. This is probably 20 plus years old. This stuff really never wears out, and it's awesome for cleaning up engines and anything greasy, dirty, something that you don't want to spray with air to beat that dirt into it. You can use the gum to clean it out. So this stuff's awesome. I'll show you how we use that. And I'll get started. So I've already taken the clutch bearings off, obviously. So I got my clutch here, and I've got all my shims that I run there. So I'll put these off to the side so I don't mix them up. And then I can get this put back together exactly how it came apart. I don't have to re-shim it again. So I'm gonna pull a wad of this gum out. You'll never get it back out, all of it back out of there, by the way. Don't worry about that. So what we do is we just kind of work this and stretch it in our hands, and then we'll mash it on and pull it off, and see how it pulls all that grime right off of there. Do that a couple times. You can spray off in the clutch too. Sometimes I'll do that with the contact cleaner or the brake clean or whatever. But this stuff's incredible. Here, let me get a good greasy spot in here. See, look at that. It just pulls the grime and that off in layers, just sucks it right off of there. Look at that, and just clean that whole boot, just one little mash. This stuff's been around forever. Super handy for degreasing stuff, and then you just put it back in there like that. You don't clean it or nothing. And I mean, I don't know how long I've had this, probably 5 years. The other one, probably 20 years. It's awesome stuff. So, okay, let's see. Let's open this up. And I'm gonna open up my bearings here. And here's the first thing that I do, maybe a little different than most. The front bearing, the outside bearing, I don't wash it, okay? I simply don't wash it. I put my inside bearing, the one that's gonna go inside the clutch bell, and then I'll spray some of this in there, just enough to cover it a little bit, okay? And I'm gonna shake this around, get the grease loosened up from inside of it. And you can blow it out with air. You know, people have done that. Spray it out, blow it out with air. That all works too, but a lot of times at the track, I don't have my air compressor like right next to me, or I don't have an air compressor available. But this works just as well. Let me find my little bearing tool here. Where is it? Guess I should have had that ready. I don't know where it is. Oh, here it is right here. Okay. So here's a little bearing tool. I bought this 100 years ago. This is gonna help me with the bearing here for a second. Just shake that. This will break down the grease pretty quick. It won't take very long at all. Okay, and then I'll just go in there with a wrench, scoop it out, and I guess I could have a clean rag, but I don't. So I'll just use this rag here, okay? So here's my bearing. Okay, that's totally dry. If there's grease in there, it wouldn't spin like that. Okay, so we're done with that. Okay, so this is the inside bearing, and this is the outside bearing. See the difference? Okay, so keep this one, put it in the outside. So I never take the grease out of the outside, because in my opinion, in order for that grease to get in and contaminate the clutch, it's got to go through the center of the engine, through the center of the crankshaft opening, I should say, through there, through that bearing, and into here. And I've just not ever had that happen. So I just leave the outside lubed. And let me grab my shims that I just took off. Okay, all good there. Put my rear bearing on. Clutch bell. Okay, and then I took this little shim. This was on the front. Try to use as little as possible on the front. Makes doing this a lot easier. In between heats and stuff, you're not fumbling around with a bunch of shims. So that'll be good enough for now. And I'll grab usually I'm pretty mean with these things. I'll grab pliers here and crank that and really crank it on there. But that's good for now. So I don't degrease the front bearing. I clean the rear bearing. And also here's another thing that I've always done. I probably run the end play a little tighter than most. I'll use one of my shims when I get it where I like it, and I'll put that shim in here and measure the end play. But I usually have about 0.3 millimeters. When I put it on and I like the feel, it's about 0.3 millimeters. That, I think, is the biggest thing with clutch bearings that most guys don't do, is they're afraid of getting this too tight. You know, hearing that you need to have room for expansion with the heat and all that, which you do, but it's not as much as you think. So if that clutch bell is really going back and forth, let's say a millimeter, let's just for conversation, if it's going a millimeter back and forth, those bearings are just getting slammed on the gas, off the gas. Because if you notice, when you look at your car and you hit the gas while it's running, the clutch bell does this. So the more play you have, I think, is the more side load on those bearings, which kills them super quick. So you take a lot of that side load off by taking up that space with your shim kit, okay? You also want to make sure your flywheel is shimmed properly also. We just released a flywheel shim pack today that's the same precision as this, so you can get your flywheel perfectly positioned, meaning it's perfect in your slot for your chassis to start it easy, and it also makes sure that you can line up the clutch bell with the spur gear perfectly in line, not off a little bit. Because there's been a lot of cars that I've ran over the years where you have to shim back here to line this up perfectly, but they don't give you the shims. So it's always been kind of a pain in the butt to find them. They're a little bit different size than normal, so but we just came out with that today. So 2 things I do: only clean the inside bearing and very little end play, about 0.3 millimeters, and that's been really good for me. I mean, 8 scale wise, I can't even remember the last set of clutch bearings that actually failed. And I'll run them for a long time. Most of you guys that know me, I don't work on anything. I go to the track and we just run all day. So sometimes my car will have 2-3 hours on it in one day, because I'm simply not gonna do much other than change a few things or, you know, fix it if it breaks. But if it's going good, I just keep putting fuel in it and charge it up and let's go. So that's a couple of tips for you guys. We have all of this on the website: shim packs, the clutch bearings, the cleaning gum, the Maxima contact cleaner, all these goodies, titanium clutch bolt. And yeah, hopefully this will help you a little bit and maybe make your clutch bells last a little bit longer. Clutch bearings, sorry. Okay, we'll see you guys next time.